Are you looking to join Cycling Men of Leisure for one of our rides in 2025? We've got a few things on our schedule.
That's right. We'll be attending Big Bragg and also the Bourbon Country Burn.
Big Bragg is in Georgia and Bourbon Country Burns in Kentucky. Both places are going to be absolutely beautiful. We're going to have teams for both of those events. If you're looking to join us on our team, just send us a message. We'll tell you what to do.
So come on out. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
Hey, good to be with you in person.
Happy to be with you in person again.
Here we are in the great state of Kentucky.
Bluegrass state.
Well, it better be because every sign says Bluegrass State or Bluegrass
Bluegrass
Tires.
Insurance, Bluegrass Bank.
Everything is bluegrass around here. So, what are we doing here?
We are participating in the Bourbon Country Burn.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful place! Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Our adventure. The show is called Road Adventures. And so
we are having an adventure on the road.
We sure are. You did Wednesday night had a big adventure. So our logistics were, if you listen to the show, you know that Michael is from Kansas and I live in Michigan. On this particular trip, I got the better end of the deal. I only had a 5 hour and 20-minute drive, except for coming out of Ann Arbor. It took me about 45 minutes to get through Ann Arbor. So mine was like 6 hours.
Ooh.
How much was yours?
It was a little over 10.
So on this particular trip, Michael pulled his family camper so we could be the men of leisure here in the RV campground.
And we've turned it in now to a studio.
It is now a beautiful studio. We have a microwave. My studio at home doesn't have a microwave. It has a fridge. My studio doesn't have a fridge. So we ended up and we met in Frankfort, Kentucky. We kind of did this slick and slide thing where I left the key in my gas cap of my vehicle, and you came in.
Good thing I could find it at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, you know, it's the only hot pink minivan out there. No, just kidding. And then we got up on Thursday, and we ended up going to Four Roses. We had a tour called
Four Roses?
Sip and Stroll. And
it was more like slip and slide is what it turned out to be.
Yes, it rained and
poured rain when we started walking outside.
The young lady said, "Okay, everyone, grab your cocktails." So the idea of the sip and stroll, of course, is they give you a cocktail to hold and enjoy while walking around the grounds there. And so she did her introductions and announcements, and this is what we're going to do, and these are the rules, and no smoking or vaping, and as soon as we walked outside. Wide open rain, but we made the best of it, and so we got to see Four Roses. The only disappointing part for me, being a guy who loves distilleries and enjoying them with you, is we really didn't get to see it from beginning to end.
No, because they do all of their storing, aging, and bottling down the road.
Yeah, like 45 miles down the road.
Yeah, so it's not like that's part of the tour, which is...
No, so I mean, normally you get to see the tour and you get to see, okay, well, we bring the grain in on the truck, and
which is very deceptive, because when you pull into Four Roses, number one, Four Roses was designed around like the mid-20s California architecture with all the kind of the Spanish type of think the Alamo
architecture and all that
Spanish type of architecture with stucco. So it's very beautiful. But across the street from it, you see all these rick houses. So when you come to the tour, you think, oh, well, right over there is where they, where they store it and age it and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, those rick houses actually belong to Wild Turkey.
Well,
kind of deceptive.
And they showed us they weren't actually producing because they said it was their summertime. And so I mean, it was still cool. I love going to new distilleries, and we got to, roam the gift shop and got to taste,
tasting,
and learned about their 10 recipe. That's all I'll say in case somebody wants to enjoy it for themselves. So
we learned about their 10 recipes, and we also learned about their bottling or their letters that they have on the bottles and how to read those.
Yeah,
which I thought was very interesting.
And the way she was speaking, and I mean, her and her friends could probably have a secret conversation about a guest.
Oh, yeah.
He's totally an OBSB.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then it was kind of crazy. We ended up going to a Walmart because we needed someplace to park your truck and camper, and we had lunch real quick, and then picked up a couple items, and then.
But I wasn't able to use my credit card.
That's all right. I'll let you tell that. So
no, and the long, I had to work, and so I got started late, and I was out in the middle of Illinois, just getting ready to go into Indiana. Had to stop for gas, at a road racer or whatever the name of the place was. Slapped my card in there, wouldn't give it back to me. So I filled up with gas, and then at the end, it still wouldn't give it back to me. And I'm like, what? I had to walk in there. It was like 2:00 in the morning, 1:00 in the morning. I go, I got a really stupid question. How do I get my credit card out of your gas machine? Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so basically my stop for gas turned into a 50-minute, let's call the technician out and try to get your card out. And finally, after these two people sat there and played with it or whatever, they couldn't get it out either. I told them I could get it out, but I didn't think they would appreciate my methods. So finally I'm like, forget it. So I just called up American Express and said, just cancel this card. I need to get down the road. So
for a pair of vice grips, clip it on there and yank.
I had all sorts of ideas, but they didn't want me doing any of those. But so that even added to my longer drive. So that's why it took me even longer to get there. So.
Yeah. So all weekend you've been saying, hey, why don't you buy this for me? No, just kidding.
Fortunately, I had a couple of the credit cards with me, so we're good.
So then we ended up coming over here, pulling your camper into the Kentucky Horse Park here and do the normal RV check-in, which is the first time for me having an RV here. Normally we have camp, just tent primitive camping.
We're doing it in style this year.
I know, man. You brought the cat's meow here. So, and then we raced over to Woodford because we had a 3:30 tour there. And that was really cool. I mean, I really enjoyed. You and I had gone there last year, and we just couldn't pick up a tour, and so this time we did the tour, and which is cool because then we didn't have to worry about
But what was even cooler? Not only did we get the tour, we got to go hang out over in their bar area for a little bit. We got the special bottle drop.
We did. There was a release of the Toasted Almond Woodford 6,000 limited. Not allocated, not being sent to any other state. You can only buy it at Woodford. And they were selling them 2 bottles max. And the line was, I mean, it was
just constant. It was just like two.
And so if my wife was listening to this, that were $12 a piece. And, yeah, we'll just go with that. So, and she does listen. So, no, but it's kind of cool to have something that no one else is going to have.
Oh, yeah.
So, or 6,000 bottles or whatever we're going to have. So, and then, the history that Woodford, the buildings could tell, the oldest distillery known. And, so that was really cool. So, and then we rushed over here and we met with our friends and so far this year we've got to see some people we've met on Bragg before.
Yep.
And
not even Bragg this year, Bragg last year.
Bragg last year, yeah. And a few people around camp have noticed this as well and saying, "Hey, we listen to your show." And then, ironically, getting out of space here. But last night we came in for a ride, and in the shower I'm saying, "Hey, blah blah blah" to you, like, "Hey, do you want this one?" And the guy goes, "I recognize your voice. I listen to your podcast." And so that was really cool. So. On Friday, then we got up.
We rode.
We went first out to Buffalo Trace first. Okay. I know it's all a blur, right? It's just been crazy. I'm looking
because we had to go out there for the allocation because we were watching the odds, and it's like the day before was like Weller's, and then it's like that's what they thought, and then yesterday the odds were heavily Blanton's, if not Taylor.
On behalf of Adam
and Michael,
we both want to say thank you
for your support.
Yeah, it was like on the predictability websites and blogs, it was just a smidge more each Taylor than it was Blanton's. And when we got there, the guy said, we have Blanton's today and a heavy supply of it. And I don't think I realized how much Blanton's was going to be there when we walked in.
There was just Blanton's stacked.
There's just hundreds and hundreds of bottles of Blanton's. So if anyone is into bourbon, Blanton's is what is originally thought to bring back bourbon. So Clear Spirits came in the 70s and 80s, and Miami Vice and all your martinis and stuff. And then in 1984,
Zima.
Oh yeah, Zima. Remember people do Jolly Ranchers and their Zima, but and then Blanton's is thought to have brought back bourbon. So if you don't know that story, please look it up. I highly recommend watching a program called Neat. You hear bourbon a lot on this. But this is our adventures. This is what we like to do. So, but while we were there, Tyrese, is that his name? Tyrese said, "Are you guys interested in a tour?" And we're like, "Well, actually, we're on the waiting list for a tour." He's like, "Well, why don't you check right now?" And sure enough, lo and behold, Tyrese had us talk to Michelle. Michelle said,
she hooked us up.
"I can get you in the 11 o'clock." And so, there we were, which was what we had tried 2 years in a row to get. And so, it felt like a win-win-win. We got to Buffalo Trace, as my boss called it, the Mecca of the Holy Land. And,
yes.
And then we got Blanton's, and then we got to do the tour.
And then we still got to get back here in time to do a 26 miles.
Yeah. And that's if anyone is looking at doing the Bourbon Burn, that short route on Friday is one of the most picturesque routes.
Yeah.
We had the trees that were turning red, the rock walls, the double white picket fences,
huge stables,
rolling stables, big, huge properties, horses everywhere. It is picturesque. What you think of the horse capital of the world, as I saw on one of the signs, Lexington, Kentucky, that is the route to do. Now, if you're looking for more miles, that's fine. You do that as well. I'm just saying that route to me would be selling this route. Then we got back, and the whirlwind continued. So we, once again this year, if you listen to last year's Bourbon Burn, we purchased VIP tickets for tastings. And of course, you and I know that this year we ended up doing Buffalo Trace again because we knew that Freddie Johnson was going to be there. And if you're into bourbon or into anything like this, whiskeys or whatever, Freddie Johnson is in the Bourbon Hall of Fame, and he's not in for being a distiller.
He's the only non-distiller person
in the Hall of Fame. And he is the brand ambassador. His grandfather, his father, they've all worked at Buffalo Trace Distillery throughout the changes in years and ownerships, but they've all been there on the property, and the stories that he could tell, and he does tell, are just awe-inspiring. I mean, I'm not embarrassed at all to say I'm a grown man, but when he was telling some of the stories and the way he tells the stories, I'm tearing up, and I'm just thinking, like, when he's talking about things like, I don't want to give away his spiel, but talking about like signing a bottle and spending time.
It's about the memory
and don't keep it on your shelf, and who you serve that to. And he has a lot of good jokes about when your family's in. I'm not sharing that good bottle with my family.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyways, we decided to do that. So it was a big Buffalo Trace day yesterday.
It was a win day for Buffalo Trace.
And then we did the Old Forester, which for me was just okay. I'm not trying to be rude or.
Yeah, it was like, It
wasn't. Buffalo Trace obviously has Freddie, and he's an amazing speaker. Phil Kollins, if you listen to one of our previous shows, we had Phil on. He was the MC, and he does a great job in getting people speaking. And this woman, very nice, but just wasn't the greatest speaker. But plus it was the presentation. This wasn't for me. I mean, I tried it, I did it, and that's good enough. So, but I do have to say one negative thing. You and I
hear it.
promised when you and I started this, we said that if we gave a review on something, either A, if it was really horrible, we just
weren't going to mention it.
We weren't going to mention it. But if there is something that we felt that needed to be better, that we would mention it.
We were going to give an honest review, pros and cons, both ways.
So
Yes.
last night, a couple things happened for me here. First of all, the dinner was subpar at most.
Watery spaghetti.
Yeah, watery spaghetti, Caesar salad that had probably been in a bag.
Which is horrible because a couple friends of ours was here, and it's like last year the food was awesome. I think we had pulled pork sandwiches one night. The next night we had like a taco bar. It was like, oh, the food was fantastic. Then we got up there and they're looking at their plates, and then they look up at us, and it's like,
yeah,
sorry guys.
So that was the first thing. And okay, well, I can't control what the caterer brings. It's not my fault. So you really want to get in your own car, go somewhere and get something. That's not my own problem. Yeah. But what I did feel bad is our friend Armando is here. And we've spoke about Armando a few times on the show. We've met him at Disney and Bragg and all kinds of places. And he signed up for the VIP tasting because of us, because we had told them that we were going. And while the presentation was going on, the band that they have inside the tent for everybody else is playing excessively loud.
Yeah, bad loud rock music.
And so now what you have is this icon, this legend, speaking to people, and he's trying to now talk over the band. So in my opinion, those two things.
And they're not. I mean, they're far enough. They're far enough away.
Hey, come on! Now we're in person. I have my toy back.
I know. It's like, oh god.
It's like Big, the movie Tom Hanks and Big, But those two things, I give a big thumbs down.
Not as good as last year.
No,
not as good as last year.
I see that Jefferson's is no longer Jeffron's.
Jeffron's. They did get the sign fixed so that it reads it.
And so,
in talking about Bourbon Country Burn, two things that I really love. I think my biggest problem is that every year the routes are pretty much the same. Now, I mean, I think they did add one or two distilleries maybe, but the routes are pretty much the same every year. And I'd love to see them maybe have a couple different locations other than just here that they could like switch it up. One year we're going to do this, and next year we're going to go wherever. To another area of the Bourbon Trail, so you could hit some different distilleries.
Yeah.
Because it's hard when it's like, well, we've ridden these roads a couple times. Why do we really want to come back and ride them again and then go to,
And in total fairness, what we don't know, we know that it's 2 years in a row it's the same.
Yes.
But what we don't know is prior years when they started, if they were the same. I don't know, but it just seemed like when they had this big email release and it said, okay, we're proud to announce the routes. And you and I pulled it up thinking, great, where are we going this time?
It's the exact same routes.
Exact same. And so, there's one thing about saying you go to the same event at home. If you had a local ride and you went, back and forth, year after year, the difference is you got in your car and you went to the local bike shop or the park where everybody met and you drove home that night. No big deal for a repeat occurrence. You and I are making a long trek down the road to come here. And don't get me wrong, we're with our friends. We're here with...
having a good time. Yeah. I mean, it's... and it's a ride I would say everyone should try.
Sure.
If they're interested in. It's one of those rides I don't know if it warrants a year after year after year type of...
For sure. I completely agree. I mean, we are camping with some of our friends and they felt the same way. I mean, they were boisterous to the point of, okay, well, we went to that one last year. We could try this one or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I understand maybe that's not for everybody, but you and I promised that if we were going to do a review, we'd be honest. We'd be honest. So that's kind of our feeling. So, and we are excited about doing some different things next year. I mean, there's one that we're probably going to repeat just because of friends and people we want to see again. But you and I are looking for different places to go next year.
A lot of different roads out there we have not been down, so we really need to give it a go.
And I think for us, it's it's like I know in Iowa, I looked over, I said, man, I know I've been by that rock before. That rock and that.
And it was this big rock out in front of somebody's house that said like Jones on it or something. And you're like, we've been by that rock. And I'm like, what? We're out here riding. And you just randomly say that. I'm like, no, you're crazy. And then later at the next stop, you looked it up and it was like, oh, we have ridden by that rock before. So,
yeah. So that's, Strava shows that, it was my, second best or whatever being there. Guess I had done it faster the year before, the year I did it, but whatever. Yeah. So, okay. So we're here. We're Bourbon Country Burn tonight.
What we don't have, though, is we don't have any bourbon in front of us.
Whose fault is that?
That would be yours.
Well, no, I have ice right there. See everybody look right there? Oh, right wait, there. It's a podcast. Never mind. There is a freezer refrigerator within 6 feet of my arm length.
Then you should get up and get.
Can't. I am connected to power here, buddy. Connected.
There's always an excuse. Well, always an excuse.
Here, I'll push pause. Here.
Okay. Hold on. Let's have a bar break real quick.
Hold on. And ladies and gentlemen, Cycling Men of Leisure are back.
All right, with drink in hand.
With drinks in our hand. So,
yes.
On a previous show with Phil Kollins, with Phil Talks Whiskey, we interviewed him. He was gracious enough to give us.
Talked to him last night, actually.
We did, but for the show, he did an interview, and at the end, you had asked him if there was something to get. What would you recommend? And yes. He recommended Angel's Envy finished in the rum cask, and so. I felt, being together with you, that I would go out and get it. And so we are enjoying the... Cheers, sir.
Cheers. Let's see it.
Let's hear it.
That's rye whiskey.
Yes.
Finished in a rum
cask.
Yep.
Very nice.
You can definitely taste the rye, and you can definitely taste the sweetness of the rum.
So he was right.
Oh.
Kudos, Phil.
Good job, Phil.
Not that you need us to tell you that, but thank you for that. So we thought, it'd be something great to have out here. So, what I'd really like to talk about is people we met today.
We've got some new friends.
Yeah, we met Adam and Kelly, who, congratulations, are going to get married
in like a week or something. Next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. They're going to throw their life away. Just kidding. They're listening to the show, and they will love that joke. But no, congratulations to them on a serious note.
Yes, Adam and Kelly from Kenosha, Wisconsin. So that's cool.
They're Central Time friends for you.
Well, all the good people come from Central Time.
Yeah, you go with that.
But we did 26 miles with them today.
Yep.
So it was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And love meeting new people. That's why we do this. The adventures on the road. So my question to you is, what's next for you? I mean, you get home, winterize the bike, and start riding the Peloton?
Well, before I get home, I'm going to go talk to Adam Kelly and see if I could persuade them to wear Cycling Men of Leisure shirts when they get married. Think I could make that happen?
Can we get the show on the air fast? I mean, if we could edit it and upload it, there is Wi-Fi here in the Kentucky Horse Park.
No, but they get married with Cycling Men of Leisure shirts on. That would be so cool.
Too bad we didn't have a Cycling Women of Leisure. And then they could get married like that.
That would be cool.
She said it's going to be a party. And they're friends officiating it, so it'd be awesome.
And they're in Wisconsin.
Well, everyone parties
in
Wisconsin.
Capital of the state, or the country, so.
You know who else is in Wisconsin?
Who?
Trek. The bicycle company.
You mean the people that just screw the components on?
Oh, whoa. Who was fixing their bike here in camp this morning?
Well, I was.
Exactly. What kind of bike do you ride?
I was fine-tuning the Italian Stallion.
The amount of beep that you gave me for my bike being broken, which, by the way, is really funny to be walking around here and someone goes, "Did you get your bike fixed?" I'm like, I actually did get my bike fixed.
Asking.
Thank you. Yeah, I really did. Thank you.
Well, you guys were riding today.
Yes,
and we had a really fast section and a really nice section.
Right.
And so I was just letting it go. So I got up there a couple minutes before you guys did, and I'm sitting in the shade, and you guys come up, and it was really weird because I'm sitting there, and Adam pulls up on the left, and Kelly pulls up right in front, and then you kind of came around and pulled up on my right, and there's a building behind me. So you guys were kind of encircled me, which put me in defense mode already. I'm, ready to, we're going to crack some skulls right here on this road. And then you started saying, yeah, we thought we'd talk to you about your bicycle. And all of a sudden I'm in the middle of like a bike intervention.
Well, listen, I mean,
they're all riding truck. I'm, not. And
you were not one of the cool kids.
Well, I just felt like I was being ganged up on.
Obviously, you weren't one of the cool kids, but that's okay.
Hey, Adam, I need a Coke.
Sounds good. We'll be back after a quick break.
Let's not rag on Bianchi. Oldest bike manufacturer in the world. Take that.
Although, for some reason, either you and I are not intelligent enough, and we're pretty intelligent guys, to figure out that front stem piece. It just keeps coming loose year after year.
What stem piece?
Oh, the one that you tightened today.
Doesn't keep coming loose year after year.
We were in Brunswick and it was loose.
Well, that's because we had built it the night before.
And remember that lady in her lawn? Can I help you? We're just tightening this up real quick. Do you need me to get my husband?
No. Oh, no, that wasn't Brunswick. That was over on
Jekyll Island or whatever.
St.
Simon Island.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was a very nice house, and she was out with her child, and I think she thought we looked creepy or something. But
well, we kind of do.
And then when we went over to Brunswick, we were traveling through that neighborhood, and the lady said something like, "You don't have to go so fast," or something.
No one's going to hurt you around
here. No one's going to hurt you around here. I was like,
well, I wasn't worried.
I wasn't even thinking that, but now I'm a little concerned.
Now I am a little worried. Should we be pedaling a little faster? So, good times in Georgia. So,
oh, yes.
All right, anyways, it comes loose.
Congratulations to Adam and Kelly. It was
Yes.
great meeting you, and shout out to you guys.
Good luck to you in your new adventure in life, although they've been together for quite some time. They're just making it official. Official. With their officiant friend.
Now gets real.
I think it's going to be the same. I just don't want to lie. I think
it's not. It's really not.
It's not?
No.
Does your wife listen to the show?
She does.
Yes.
But, it's not the same, though. I mean, it wasn't the same for me. I mean, if you live with somebody...
Okay, wait. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the BS. Go ahead. I'm ready.
No, I'm saying if you live with somebody...
Yes.
And then down the road you get married to that same person.
Yes.
For me, it was different. It's like, okay, now you're just living with somebody. It's like, okay, fine. One of us can just up and leave tomorrow. And
it's a ring and a piece of paper.
But it's legal.
Oh, yes. So is marijuana.
Well,
so
not in my state. It's not.
Oh,
but,
gosh. In
no,
Michigan,
but I mean,
that's our state flower now.
My point is, it's different then. I mean, you've now went up. The state has recognized you as a couple.
That's true. And you get a lot of benefits on your taxes.
Now if one of you decide to leave, well, somebody's given up part of their 401k, and it's different.
Listen,
I enjoy marriage very much. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
And so do I. I'm proud to be married. Just to be honest, I'm proud to be married to Lauren. We are coming up on 7 years, and she is my world. I mean, she's my partner. She's my other half, and I don't want to do it without her. I'm just saying to me.
Okay, she already knows you spent a whole bunch at the distillery the other day.
She doesn't even listen to the show half the time, so. We were in the car the other day. We were going to the Renaissance Festival, and I said, "Anyone listening to the show?" My father-in-law's to my right. My parents are in the bucket seats behind me in the van, and my wife's in the back. And I was like, "No." I'm like, just slowly went, "Well, thanks for all the support, guys." So,
but that's good because early on, the family was all listening to the show, which helped the numbers. And now the families aren't even listening to the show. I mean, my mother does faithfully, but
your mother listens to within 8 minutes of the show.
Oh yeah, as soon as the show show's got to come. It's like,
I know,
if I don't listen to it now, it's going to go away or something. But no,
and we appreciate
thank
that,
you.
Barb.
Thank you,
Barb.
Mom. Yeah, absolutely.
You, we love you.
Sports.
But I will tell you that I will. I'm the one who, and we split the responsibilities in the show, but I'm the one on Sunday that makes sure at 4:00 Eastern time it goes out. And what I do is I make sure that it's not only live, but I start watching and make sure that the numbers are starting to slowly build because of the followers. Every time. Lewisburg.
Lewisburg.
Boom. Right there. So,
There is someone else in my small burg that's listening religiously.
is it your daughter?
And it's not people in my household, because no one in my household, I know when they kind of listen, and no one in my household has like listened yet. But then my mom shows up, and then somebody else shows up right close.
This is a mighty fine
drink.
Fine drink. I recommend going and get yourself a bottle of Angel's Envy finished in rum cask rye. It is a green label at the top, but a little pricey. But you know what? Worth it. This is good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this year we have had many adventures. We started in April in Rutledge, Georgia, with spring tune-up. We've done Bragg, where we flew in, flew out. We did Ragbri 50, which, man, what a ride! And
In more ways than one.
yeah, I mean, normally, we've killed it and put it on a shish kebab and burn it up and put it away, but I talked to a guy today, and he said, I think I saw your hat with you and your hat out at Ragbri. I said, yeah, you did. He said, I listened to your show. I said, thank you. And he said, what'd you think of Ragbri this year? And I wanted to be polite. I wanted to be like, oh man, I just thought it was a killer. And he's like, I'll tell you what I thought. I've done lots of them, and this one was awful. All the people and all the roads and the heat. And I said, okay, well, now that you said that, then I'll tell you my opinion. Yeah, I said this one was a little worse, but we were there, we did it. But now we're finishing the year with Bourbon Country Burn. So it's been a great year.
It's been an awesome year. Fantastic. A lot of miles. Been enjoyable doing those miles with you and doing some recording. To answer your question, which I kind of moved to a different subject before answering your question, what's next for me? What's up?
Yeah.
I'll go home, clean up the bike.
Okay.
Put it in its place of honor on the ceiling of my garage.
You got to take it inside.
No, it likes the ceiling of my garage. That's an honored place.
I don't think so.
Have you met my wife?
I have. As a matter of fact, the best story I have of your wife is this. I was visiting. I was visiting Michael and his family, and beautiful family, by the way. And you obviously had some sort of behind-the-scenes disagreement with your wife before I had got there, and you guys had mentioned it or talked about it. And she said, "Michael, do you want to talk about this in front of your friend?" And like your answer was, I don't want to talk about it at all. So,
I don't know. Do I need a witness later in court, or unless
I would imagine that Mrs. Michael would allow you to bring the bike inside.
No. I could bring it inside, and then she's gonna. Why is your bike in here?
Mine lives in the house in the winter.
No, the ceiling is quite a.
Do you heat your garage?
No.
I do on Saturdays when I watch football.
You also expose it to a lot of cigar smoke.
I do. Yeah, I don't want the bike to get cancer. So,
no, it'll go in the garage, just because my wife doesn't want that sitting around in the basement. And that's fine. I guess I could stick it in my office, but yeah. And then I will probably, I'm not going to lie to you, go a couple of months. Do whatever it is I need to do. And then probably about mid to late December, I will get on the Peloton.
Well, and I won't lie to you, when I get home, I'll probably do lots of golfing before it turns winter and I'm locked in my house.
You don't get much exercise in golf, I'm just saying.
Well, if you walk.
You don't walk, though.
I have.
But you don't.
More often than not, I don't, because a couple of courses I play are too hilly, you can't walk. But,
time out. Too hilly.
You ever golf?
There you go. I'm pushing the button. It's too hilly to walk.
Some courses.
Now, one of these days, you're going to go, well, that's too hilly for me to cycle.
Today might have been one of those. Couple of hills today weren't the greatest, but no, seriously.
It's never too hilly. I mean,
there's even courses in Michigan where they don't even offer walking. I mean, you can't even walk.
But you don't golf in those courses.
Sure, I have. I've golfed in lots of courses.
You don't regularly golf at those courses.
No, I don't. Those are
That's
expensive.
What I'm saying.
Those are them are rich folk.
And they're rich folk.
They got cement ponds in the front and everything else. So
I'm just saying that again, that's another weak excuse. Like, oh, there's too much traffic for me to take my bike to get it fixed. oh, there's too many hills for me to walk a golf course.
Listen,
I'm just hearing a bunch of cop-out excuses is what I'm hearing.
you hear what you want to hear. So the listeners are hearing that I enjoy golf. So.
And it's too hilly to walk. I'm just saying, if you were out there walking, you would get more exercise, and that would help your cycling program. But
It would.
you do what you want.
Hey, Michael, I need a coffee.
Okay, we'll be back right after this message.
What I really need to do is get back on the trainer and ride a couple times
Because
a week.
what I'm going to hear is next June, wherever we're riding, or May, whenever it might be, I'm going to hear, oh man, I should have got on the bike.
No, not this time. I'm making a proclamation.
You just told me that earlier today. It's like, oh man, I got to get on that bike more.
I should, but I'm making a
Okay,
proclamation.
a proclamation.
I'm going to stay the course. I'm gonna.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna ride.
Continue doing what you're doing?
No, I'm gonna stay.
I'm going to stay the course. I'm not riding from October
No.
to May.
No, where's this mute button on this thing? I haven't played with this toy in a while, but no, I'm going to get my butt on the bike a couple times a week on the trainer.
Are you going to use it, or are you just going to sit on it and watch TV?
Well, there is a TV in there.
I know there is.
I mean, there's a TV in every room now, but no, I'm gonna ride it. I'll let you hold me accountable as my friend. You can get on Strava because it uploads right to Strava.
Okay, you're going to do the Strava thing.
And if it doesn't show on Strava, I give you first right of refusal to call and smack me up a little bit.
But then you know what? There's going to be an excuse.
I was working.
I was upstairs. It was too far to walk.
It is upstairs.
It's right across from your bedroom, right next to your office.
And I've walked by it all summer long.
Yeah.
I just turn around, get in the shower, and get dressed. And
Have you even opened the door all summer?
Yeah.
Do you ever peek in and say, "Hey, anybody broke in and stolen my stationary bike?" Or
The bike is still there. It is still hanging the same sweater that was hanging on there a couple weeks ago to dry.
the sweater's dry now.
I bet you it is. It's time to get hung up and out back in the closet. But my wife got a new job, and so we bought some clothes, and this said hang dry only. And so I was like, perfect. I'm not using it, so I'll put it in there. But no, that's where I keep all the stuff for weekends like this. So all my pack outs go in there.
Okay. I don't want to start getting blamed for you not riding.
I'm saying I'm letting you hold me accountable.
Okay. We're all going to hold you accountable.
Okay.
You've now said it. It's recorded.
Go to Strava, look up Cycling Men of Leisure, because we have our own Cycling Men of Leisure
There you
Strava
go.
team.
And make sure Adam is riding.
That's right. Hold me accountable.
And if you want to hold me accountable, well,
You just said you're not getting on until December.
well, to December, yeah.
Okay.
See, I was smart enough to give myself some space.
Well, that may not be my smartest choice, but
I did do a Cycling Men of Leisure on Peloton, though, so
oh, you did.
we're out there, yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so wintertime, we will also do research what we're going to ride next year.
We need some ideas. If anybody has ideas,
Some rides.
rides that we just got an idea today from our friend Armando. Gave us an idea of what we should ride next year, maybe.
Bike ride across Tennessee.
Tennessee. He did it a couple weeks ago. Said it was a great ride.
Yep.
So we'll put that on the list. But if anybody out there has any good ideas for week-long rides, half-week-long rides, 3-day rides, whatever, send them over. We're happy. I mean, I created a list, but that's just a list. I'd love to hear from some people saying, "Hey, this is a ride you need to do."
Have you bought the Cycling Men of Leisure Learjet yet?
Not yet.
Because a 12-hour... See, I saw they were advertising spring tune-up for Georgia, but, we were there. It was great, and we got to see our friends and everything, but I tell you what, 12, 13-hour drive for a weekend ride and then back.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
So
maybe we need to replace that with another ride. Maybe find something. And if we don't find anything, we can make our own ride.
that's right.
Pick someplace, go, just ride.
That's right.
Could we ride around Mackinaw Island? How long is it around Mackinaw
8
Island?
miles.
Is that it?
Yeah, so you'd have to...
I mean, that's underachieving even for us. So
Yeah, we're more of the 26-mile range this weekend.
for a short day, 26, 30 is about it. So 8 would be like
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult because usually you rent bikes on the island. You can take your own bikes. I don't want to lie. You can put them on the back of the ferry and go over, but most people just take the
Can we
family.
get one of those like beer bikes and pedal at 8 miles?
No, but I saw on the Ragbri.
Yes,
it said next year for Ragbri, we should take
it was like a 4-person
mini
bike.
one.
Yeah.
The big ones, I understand that they don't even, I mean, I hate to say this, but some friends went to Nashville and said, you don't even really have to pedal those. They have motors and they're like.
So pedaling's not required.
No.
It's just like, hey, look, I'm pedaling and drinking.
Now
down the road.
Someone's going to email me and say, I was on one that had to be, you had to pedal. But
in the instance that you're speaking of,
yeah,
there was some motor assist.
Yeah, my friend said that you didn't even have to really pedal. It just, there's a driver there and the driver is driving.
Well, I've seen those things in Nashville full of young ladies, and I was like, unless this stays completely flat, they're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
And I'm not making any comments about, women doing it, but I mean, these were like, they were so engrossed in, they're drinking and chit chatting that they would forget to pedal, and it'd
be a safety issue because if they weren't pedaling and then cars would get behind them or whatever. I've never been in Nashville, so I don't know, but I understand that the bachelorette parties are pretty of a happening thing.
Bachelorette parties are pretty much, I would say, like, one of the primary industries now of Nashville. It's like the place to go.
And I understand there's lots of bars and lots of...
I mean, they have like, I don't know what the street is, but it's just rows of like country bars, all of them have live music and all that. I mean, you walk down it and there's just like several blocks, both sides, country music of all kinds, just blaring out of the bars. It's
like that 1 year Ragbri where we had four pieces of music playing at once.
Take that times about 10.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm good. I don't need to go to that. So,
guess we won't be having your bachelorette party there.
I guess not. My dog's on my front porch and I don't want to die. I'm just kidding. So, actually, my wife has teased me because we have a few songs on our playlist that you and I share that are very in the country category. And she'll say, "Are you going country on me now?" So
she doesn't like country.
I think she's very open-minded. She has lots of different musics. And she getting ready and listens to stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. As long as she doesn't turn into a Swiftie.
A Swiftie.
Well, today I think there was a lady confused. I don't know about... I've never shared this on the show before that I can remember, but a long time ago, I used to be like a groupie for Dave Matthews Band.
God.
And I would...
Talk about a confused young man.
Well, listen, I didn't have a mortgage then. I was young. Tickets were $27. When's the last time you can go to a concert for $27?
Well, yeah, this was back in 1996.
Well, he started in 96, but I think my touring days were early 2000s, late 2000s. We'd go to like 15, 16 shows at a time. I mean, just follow them, boom, 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 and then work a few weeks and then go back in. Had a job where I could do that then, but...
you needed a new hobby.
Well, yeah, I did. I got into cycling and tried scuba diving for a while, and then if first you don't succeed, don't try it again. No, just kidding. But that's like parachuting, But today we saw a car where on one side of the bumper sticker it had said had the Fire Dancer logo from Dave Matthews Band, and on the other side it said Swiftie. And I was like, I think you're confused. Does the driver like Dave Matthews and the passenger is a Swiftie? So, hey, you're from KC, man. What's going on with this?
I don't know. I'm done with that already. It's like
Kelsey Taylor Swift. Here we go.
Yeah, it's just like,
see,
everybody's freaking out about that in Kansas. It's like, oh my God. It's like, well,
as you know, I follow Kansas City sports as well, just because of our friendship. I don't think I got to see the game very much. They kept going right back up to the box where she was. So
everybody in Kansas City is just so enthralled about this. I mean, I guess they think that they're going to get married and she's going to move to Kansas City, and I don't know.
Well, I purposely mentioned her because Kelsey's jersey's gone up 400% since he's with her because of the Swiftie connection. And the football, believe it or not, when I was in the hotel having breakfast the other day, football, women viewership of football has gone up 4,000% or something like that, of an age range of like 17 to 48, because they were watching all the games. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to grab a hold of the notoriety of the Swifty, and I would really love the numbers of cycling men of leisure.
Oh, see, now it just all sounds like a big marketing thing. It's
So
like,
if
did
you're
the NFL say, "Hey, why don't you guys just,
well, I don't
have
care if it
some
is or
fun,
not.
and
If
we're
it
just
gets
gonna
us
help
better
our numbers."
numbers, if there's a Swifty, listen, share it on the Swifty page. Is there a Swifty page?
How would I know?
You have a young daughter. No.
I did go to one of her concerts once, only because my wife had 2 tickets and the person that was going backed out or couldn't go for whatever reason. It's like, I'll go. Yeah, it was a lot of young girls
Screaming.
They were giving out a lot of makeup products and things like that.
Huh. Well, I hope you had a good time. So that's all I'm going to say. Well, I think that pretty much does it for us.
Did we talk about the ride? Did we get that in there?
What ride?
We're off talking about Taylor Swift and everything else. But anyway, no.
All right, bringing it back to the Bourbon Country Burn. Tonight we have hang out with our friends for dinner, and we'll hope for a better experience there. And then we have, if you've never been here before, they do bourbon tastings. They have 6, 7, 8, 9 vendors. I don't know. I don't want to lie how many. I know we saw 6 majors for sure.
Yes.
And so, example, I saw New Riff is going to be here where I was.
Buffalo Trace is going to be here.
Buffalo Trace, yeah.
Yep.
Bardstown, Limestone
Branch, some others.
And they give you tickets. They give you 4 tickets where you can go try some. And I saw so many people giving their tickets out. They're like, you want mine? So if you really wanted more, you could have it. And then tomorrow, pack up and head back. So,
although I think tonight we should, have a cornhole tournament.
Those are pretty sweet. I don't know where you pulled all that together. So
yes, I brought out, unbeknownst to Adam, I had some custom made official regulation tournament cornhole boards made, and one has cycling men of leisure on it, and the other has cycling women of leisure. And then the guy that I went through got me official bags that have it, the colors match and have it printed on there.
We should take a couple pictures of that and put it up on our.
We're gonna have to post
Facebook.
that. It turned out really good, and I was like, "Oh, this looks awesome!" So,
I these buttons are here. I'm just dying to play with them.
Push them one at a time. This is why.
Yes.
We only use that when we're both together, because otherwise you'd be just sitting there pushing the buttons the whole episode.
Oh yeah, I'm.
What's this button do?
And we're back. No, I know you can program this thing, but if you and I live closer, I'd get to play with this more. So we've got a lot of
listeners thank us for not living closer.
I bet you they do.
Yes.
Tired of all the sound effects, but to a great year. Oh, cheers to you, to a wonderful thing.
Unfortunately, a little sad. Our cycling season is over.
It is.
But we'll start planning for the next one. And we have a lot of good subject matter, I think, going into wintertime to chat about.
I want you to know that Delta Airlines flies all year round. So you can always come up to Michigan.
Oh, I'll be up to Michigan sometime this winter.
Good.
Why I want to go to Michigan in the wintertime? Who knows?
Well, because distilleries... Detroit Distillery is now won a bunch of gold awards, and I've purposely not gone until you've been in the area. So.
Okay, well I appreciate that.
So we can
I'll come
do
up
that
and visit.
And if you're there on a Sunday and we want to shell out a bunch of money, now that the Lions are actually 3-1, we might be able to get some tickets and take you to Ford Field. So that's definitely
that'd be cool.
It is a pretty cool place. So I've enjoyed the year. Not sure we'll have any much more to talk about on Bourbon Country Burn, but
no, I think that pretty much.
But I think we're kind of wrapping it down, and kind of makes me sad. So, but
we'll be back.
The exciting part is we'll have shows in the winter. I know we've mentioned lots of different things. I do have a favor to ask.
Okay.
If you're a subscriber, a follower, listener to this show.
Oh, okay.
And you think that what we're doing is part of something that you enjoy, part of something that, you when the new episode comes out, even 10% of you is like, oh, cool, I'll listen to that. We're asking if you could spend 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. The platform that you enjoy your podcast on, and truthfully, I don't care what podcast we put out on so many. I was blown away when we set this whole thing up. How many places that you could actually put your podcast?
They're everywhere.
And we know that people are listening on each one of those because we get the numbers. We get the numbers. But most likely, there's a little review button there. Good, bad, better, worse. If you could leave us a review, reviews help what we're doing. If you like listening to us and you enjoy the humor that we give each other back and forth, recommendations, because I think we actually get emailed on reviews that actually happen.
Love to have recommendations. People want to know about things because we've incorporated several of those into our shows this last year.
We have. So if you could spend a few minutes, give us a review, share with one of your friends if you are so kind to do so. We'd appreciate it. And as Michael always says, if you have something that you want to hear, if there's a subject that you want us to talk about, God, I wish they would talk about, I'm sure they don't want to talk about Swifties, but if they wanted to talk about something other than that, let us know. We'll do our research and due diligence, and there's a lot of, if you've never done a podcast, there's a lot of back-ended research that goes into play, and we take a lot of pride in doing our best. And sometimes someone will find a mistake that we've made, and we're not perfect.
No, call it out. If you've listened to this for any period of time, you've heard us make corrections to something that we.
And a lot of times that correction allows us to go back and do a deeper dive, and then say, okay, by gosh, first of all, we're gonna wave our white flag. We made a mistake. And then we're going to say, but now you've challenged us to go deeper down the wormhole. So, anyways,
clearly we are not e-bike experts. We've proven that. So.
Yeah, we failed at that, but
we got it right the second time.
I mean, Bosch can't steer me wrong now. I can keep going. If I ever forget, I can go to the Bosch website. So
there you go.
So please leave us a review. Please share with your friends, and let us know if there's anything you want to hear.
Absolutely.
And all I'll leave you with is, what was today?
Today was a great day to ride a bike.
It sure was.
In Kentucky also.
Yes. It was. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com. At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.